Hey everyone, welcome back to the 80s Slashers YouTube channel. In this video, we will be looking at and discussing and comparing two different slasher flicks. One from the 1980s and another one from the early mid 2000s. Now, both of these films that we're going to talk about share some similarities that I thought that they would be good to recommend off of each other. Kind of if you like this, check that one out. If you like that one, check this one out, kind of thing. So, we've done a couple of these types of videos, so I thought I'd do another one here. Um, so first up, obviously, as you can see, we have Blood Tracks. Now this is from 1985. And if you're not familiar, this is a well, I did a review on this, so if you want to learn like a little bit more about this one, you can go back on the channel. I did a full review on this. But yeah, Blood Tracks is a Swedish film from 1985 that I guess could be classified within like the subgenre of kind of like a rock and roll slasher. Kind of, it fits within there. There's a few of them within the 80s slashers that kind of have like a rock and roll theme. So this is definitely one of them. Now the overall premise of Blood Tracks, basically you have like an 80s band. It's actually a real band. What's the name of them? I'm not gonna remember it offhand. It's Easy Action. I want to say Easy Action is the name of the band in this film, and they're an actual real band, and they get hired, and they couldn't act, and they had to get them like really drunk because they had horrible stage fright. Anyway, in this 80s band, they're going up into the mountains of Sweden, up in the snowy mountains to film like a music video, an 80s music video. And this is kind of like a hair metal glam rock type of like Poison, uh those type of bands from the 80s, like Poison, Bon Jovi, that kind of thing. So yeah, they go up in the mountains to film a music video. The band goes, like the director, the band management, and a bunch of groupies that are gonna like star in the music video. So all these people go up to the mountain um, to shoot this video, and they get kind of stranded up there. There's like an avalanche that happens. The roads get shut down, and so of course they're up in there. There's a few buildings. There's a couple cabins or whatnot. And there's like a factory or something, and they get stranded up there. And of course, also unbeknownst to these people, there's like a deranged mountain family that are living up there, and we get kind of a backstory at the beginning of the film of who they are and why they're up in the mountains, living in the mountains here. But they're kind of a crazy, deranged family, and when these people move in and they're stranded here, they don't like it. They're on their territory, so they start killing them off one by one. You see some of these like kind of like the deranged people there. So that's kind of the premise. It's your basic 80s slasher plot. But the highlight of this film is the setting. It's it takes place up in the snowy mountains. We go skiing and whatnot. It's really cool. It just makes for a great location to set a slasher film in, regardless of anything else. It's just a fun, you get like the bright white snow, contrast it with all like the red blood and stuff. It works really well, and there's a sense of isolation up in the mountains. Yeah, and like I said, and then you throw in like the rock and roll theme, like the groupies and like the band members, people having sex and taking their clothes off, and the music playing, the big hair. It's just fun. It's a fun little package. Now if you watch my review of this, I didn't have high. I didn't I didn't like this viewing experience too well, basically because of this release. I didn't know it at the time, but this is an uncut version. So a lot of the nudity, a lot of the blood, and just the video and the audio was like the sync was way off. It was like 3, 4, 5 seconds behind. It was a bad experience. I think this is a fun film. I just had a poor experience with it. But yeah, you just like I said, like the setting, the music, and just the funness. It's a fun little film, I think. So because of, like I said, the style of slasher this is, due to like the setting and whatnot, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend another film that's for obvious reasons, has some similarities that, kind of go well with this. So this film is from 2006, and it is Cold Prey. So yeah, now if you're not familiar with Cold Prey, this is a Norwegian film that, obviously has a very similar setting. Now, I realize that Sweden and Norway are two different countries, but honestly, the they feel very similar, like the filmmaking styles between the countries, I guess. Maybe it's just, in general, the geographic location, because they are neighbors, they're in the same part of the world. Maybe it's just the language, they speak a similar style of language, like Scandinavian types of language, I don't know, but they're closely related, in my opinion. They feel like, Finland, Sweden, Norway, they're all in that area, and I feel like their films are probably similar. If you're from one of those countries and I'm offending you, I'm sorry, but from my perspective, it's they're quite similar. So, Called Prey, the premise of this film, basically a group of friends, they decide to go snowboarding up in the mountains, up in where they probably shouldn't be snowboarding, isolated, no one's up there, but that's the best terrain for snowboarding. One of the friends breaks their leg pretty bad. It's pretty gruesome. It's like a compound fracture, the bone sticking out. It's pretty nasty. So yeah, really bad injury, and it's starting to get dark, and they're like, wow, we're way up in the mountains, what are we going to do? So they take shelter, and what they find is an old abandoned hotel. Lucky for them, I guess, right? Like, they're up in the middle of nowhere, and they found this huge hotel. So they get there just in time, and they try to get some heat on the dude, and they try to, like, patch him up and whatnot. And of course, once they're in the hotel, they're not alone. There's somebody up there. There's a history there with some mountain folk that live up in this area that live in the hotel. And of course, these young people start getting killed one by one. Your typical slasher style film. So yeah, that's basically the basic premise of each of these films. And like on like a macro scale, like a larger scale, it's easy to see the similarities between these. Um, like with the setting, and just like the deranged people that live at the place where they're taking shelter, and they start killing them one by one. They have to survive the night, and it's cold, and it's isolated up in the winter. There's a lot of similarities going on. Um, but in my opinion, there's no real contest. Cold Prey is the much better film. There's a lot more substance going on in this film than Blood Tracks. Um, yeah, so obviously, like I said, the similar setting, the mountains and the snow. The majority of the film for Cold Prey, it takes place in the hotel where they take shelter, and the hotel where they're at is great. It's such a good setting. It really reminds me of the Overlook Hotel from Kubrick's The Shining. Um, it's not just like the decor, which is similar. It's like a big old style hotel. So it has that, like, what's the word? Like the retro glam, like it used to be, high end at one point. Yeah, the decor, just how vast it is. It's just like a big, like, every room is big, and the courtyard is big. The grounds, it's just a huge abandoned hotel that's very similar to the one from The Shining. Um, and it has that feeling of isolation, like there's nothing around. Like once you're in the hotel, like you're there, like there's nothing there, like you're stuck there, especially if there's a storm going on. Um, but also similar to The Shining is, as this film unfolds, there's a backstory that plays out, that involves the hotel itself, and um, the occupants, to who were at one time living, or staying at the hotel. Very similar to the Shining, how that's kind of the prior evil, the prior history is is coming back to the present to affect these people. Just as same thing with The Shining. So, and that's a main part of this of the film is the it really elevates the plot and allows for just like a really good conclusion. Um, you get all the other stuff that you're used to in a slasher film. Like the kills and the tension and the cool setting, all that stuff. But the story and like the backstory, it really makes this a really good film in my opinion. Whereas in Blood Tracks, the plot is kind of an afterthought. It's kind of just used as a device to help explain, you know, why some of these kills are happening, why the villains are there, and just it makes sense. It's not like a bad it, but it's really quick. Like you see a little bit at the beginning. Uh, and we introduce like the backstory of how this family gets to this up in the mountains, and then we kind of forget about them and we go to these people, and then it just kind of rush it. It's not the selling point. The selling point was the nudity and the blood and the kills and all and the music. That's what the film was about. This took its time, and this was all about the story, and everything else was added to the story. Um, for Blood Tracks, it's fine. It's an 80s slasher. We're not expecting anything there wasn't a lot of 80s slashers that were heavy on the plot that had a really well written script. It was usually an afterthought. Throw something together and make it make sense so we can add these kills and the sex scenes, all that stuff. And that's what it was about, and it's fun. And it does what it's supposed to do. This is a just different time periods of slashers being made. So that's the biggest difference, obviously. Yeah, and like another thing, this film has a really good look to it. You can kind of tell by the cover here. For whatever reason, the way it was filmed, like a lot of it has like this blue green tint throughout the film, and it like you can see it here, like it's all just like this bluish greenish tint every scene almost. And it works really well. It kind of matches with the ski setting and like the up in the like, twilight, when the sun's setting, reflecting on the snow. It works really well. It goes hand in hand with the setting. And then, like I said, this film also has some really fun kills, really good kills. They're pretty brutal at times. Like I said, when I talk about like the injury, like you see like the bone sticking out, it's a pretty nasty injury, and you see some stuff like that, some good blood, some good kills. They're really brutal and violent, really aggressive. So the killer's pretty cool. Um, better than the killer in here. So yeah, I definitely prefer this to Blood Track. This is one of my favorites, man. This is really good. This also has two sequels. It has Cold Prey 2 and 3. I've never seen them. I'm waiting to track down a copy on DVD. I found this at like a thrift store for like $2, so I'm hoping to, you know, put down the sequels. But yeah, I haven't seen them yet, so that's something to look forward to. Yeah, so like I said, even though like I said these two films they have a lot of similarities, they're pretty different in their own way. And again, mostly just due to the era and the time that they were made. It's just the way it is, you know. Um, both films in their own way are really fun. It just depends on the style of slasher that you're looking to watch that night, you know? Like sometimes obviously like myself, I'm in the mood for an 80s slasher, this type of film. And this one's pretty good. I need to get a better copy, like an uncut version that the audio is not messed up, and hopefully, I really like to get a Blu-ray on this. Like they really need to be cleaning up clean up the audio and the video because it was really dark too. There was scenes I couldn't tell. There's a lot of characters and I couldn't tell who was who sometimes. You can watch my review on it. I had a lot of issues with this viewing experience, but yeah, I don't know. As the winter approaches and we're starting to get snow, at least up here in Canada, I thought this would be some good choices to talk about. These are good movies to watch, this time of year. I got snow on the ground right now. We had a little bit of a storm last couple days, and yeah, this is the time to watch these films. That's when I like to watch these, pull these out, and they give you that good winter feeling for a slasher film. And you know what? Since we're talking about Scandinavian horror films, up in set in snowy mountains. I got another one here for you, just because I have it. Might as well throw it in. Dead Snow. um, yeah, this is a Dead Snow's from 2009. This is another Norwegian film, and it's different from these. These are straight up slashers. This is as you can see, this is like a silly Nazi zombie survival type of horror film. Um, Also has a sequel, Dead Snow 2. I've never seen that. But this is fun. If you've never seen this, it's just people go up in there. I think they're up skiing in the mountains, and Nazis come out of the snow banks, zombies, and they start killing them. They have to survive the. It's uh, it's pretty ridiculous, but it's fun. It's fun. It's really violent. Lots of blood, lots of guts, lots of fun. Um, Lots of fun stuff. So yeah, there you go. There's the Scandinavian horror three pack, I guess. All fun films to watch this time of year. If, like I said, if you're familiar with Blood Tracks and you liked it, definitely check out Cold Prey. I feel like it's probably the other way around. I feel like a lot of people have probably seen Cold Prey and maybe have not got a chance to check out Blood Tracks. Um, like I said, this is the better film in my opinion, of course, but for an 80s slasher, it's hard to compare. But yeah, they're in the same neighborhood. So, and like I said, throw in Dead Snow as well, because it's a fun Scandinavian horror as well. Yeah, so that's it about this. So hopefully you guys like these videos. I'll keep putting them out. One thing, like I said, I mentioned it last video. This will be my last video for the year. It's mid-December, so I'm gonna take a little break for a few weeks, kind of unwind. Spend some time with the family. Just take a little breather. I've been putting out a video every week for over 2.5 years now. And yeah, I'm just gonna take a little breather for the next couple weeks, and I'll come back in the new year with some, end of year wrap up type of videos, stuff like that. I don't know if I'm gonna get anything for Christmas or not. I may get one or two things for Christmas. If so, I'll show them on here. I hope I do on my wish list. I have a few 80s slasher related things, so we'll see if I get some. I don't know. I may not, but yeah, I'll come back in the new year with all those type of things, and we'll keep going. So yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys are enjoying these types of videos, and yeah, until next time. All right, see ya.